Now, your agreement with her is that she could use the car.
Correct.
Did you have an accident with the car? Don't look up at the sky, look right here.
Yes.
I assume that your girlfriend did not like the fact that your old girlfriend had the car. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out.
You're right.
This is Judy Justice. Kendall Ruiz and Isaac Thompson are suing Isaac's ex-girlfriend, Donna Schulte, for towing fees and car repairs from an accident.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3025, Maurice Thompson versus Schulte.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Ruiz, this is your boyfriend.
Correct.
How long have you been together with him?
It's been on and off for about...
Like 2.5 years, Your Honor.
And you have a child together?
We do.
How old is that child?
He turned 1 in January.
Do you live together?
We do.
For 2.5 years?
Most of the 2.5 years, correct.
When it wasn't the most, were you living with Miss Schulte?
No.
When were you with Miss Schulte?
3.5 years ago, at least.
When you were with Miss Schulte, were you living with her?
Yes, Your Honor. He will be 4 in August.
Do you see him?
Every week, or every other week.
That going okay?
Yep.
Yep, it's not an answer.
Sorry, yes,
is an
Your
answer. Very good. Okay, now, when you were with her 3.5 years ago, you had a car.
Yes.
And that car was a 2016 Jeep Renegade.
Correct, Your Honor.
In whose name was that car?
The vehicle is in mine and Kendall's name.
When was it put in your name and Kendall's name?
At the time of purchase, it was...
2021.
Yes, it was...
Yeah, have it, please. Thank you. Okay, so it was purchased by the two of you April 6, 2021.
Correct, Your Honor.
And at that time, you two were together.
Yes, Your Honor.
But then there came a time when you had a breakup.
Yes, Your Honor.
When was that?
It was around December of 2021.
And where did you go?
I went back to move in with my parents.
Did you take the Jeep with you?
I did.
Did you have another car, Miss Ruiz?
For a while until...
No, he said he took the car and went back to his parents. That was in December of 2021. What I'm asking you is, in December of 2021, did you have another car?
I got a new vehicle, yes.
In December of 2021, when he left. So it was agreed between the two of you that he would take the car, even though it was in both your names?
Yes.
Okay. Who was making payments on the car?
I was, Your Honor.
So that was the agreement. He would take the car, he would make the payments, you would get another car.
Yes.
Great. And then you moved back with your parents. Now tell me how Miss Schulte, with whom you have a child, got possession of the Jeep.
So at the time, I was not able to afford the vehicle.
Okay, so you took it, but you had payments. What were the monthly payments?
I believe they were $367.
So how did it come into Miss Schulte's possession?
I did not need the vehicle, as I had another car at the time, and she was in need of a new vehicle. So I offered her the deal that if she were able to put the vehicle in her name and keep insurance on it, that she was able to have the vehicle, but she did not follow any of the rules for the
Well, she
agreement.
can't, she,
Right, but
and they're not going to allow somebody off the hook. That would be the two of you who are on that loan, right? They're not going to allow the two of you off the hook and just have her on the hook. The loan, as between the loan company and the two of you, she's nobody.
Right.
So she can't register the car in her name unless she pays it off.
That was the idea behind the agreement, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know what the idea was. You mean the idea was that she make the monthly payments?
Yeah, she was to continue making the monthly payment.
That's okay. She can make the monthly payment. She still can't register it in her name as the owner because there's a lien on the car by the people who gave you the money to buy it.
Correct.
So she can't register because there's a lien on it, on your title. Do you have your title?
I do.
And I want you just to look at your title and tell me what it says under lien holder.
It says the bank that has the title to the vehicle.
Right. And they actually hold the title. She can't register it in her name. So in effect, what you said to her was you can use the car as long as you make the payments.
Correct.
Because I can't make the payments anymore. Okay. And then you went back to Miss Ruiz.
Correct.
Okay. And when did you go back to Miss Ruiz? Month. This was in
January.
Agreement with her is that she could use the car.
Correct.
She has use this car as long as she made the payments.
And had insurance on the vehicle.
Okay. Did she make the payment in January?
Late.
Did she make the payment in January?
She did.
What about February?
She did.
What about March?
I do not believe so.
What happened in April? Did you ask for the Jeep back?
I was asking for the vehicle back shortly after giving it to her because she wasn't holding up her end of the agreement. She was not making the payments on time and she did not have insurance on the vehicle.
She made the payments. She made January, February, and March.
Late,
now,
which affected my credit.
Well, that's too bad.
Kendall Ruiz and Isaac Thompson claim Isaac's ex-girlfriend, Donna Schulte, owes for towing fees and vehicle repairs from an accident.
Okay. Did she make the payment in January?
She did.
What about February?
She did.
What about March?
I do not believe so.
How long did you have the car?
Until April.
Did you make March's payment?
I did.
Do you have proof of that?
Well, I have 3 payments, so January, February, March.
Yes. The answer, I don't have to see them. What happened in April?
She was not making the payments. There was still...
She made January, February, and March. Now we're in April.
Yes, she did not make the payment. We did not get the Jeep back until May 3rd.
Just a second. What happened in April? Did you ask for the Jeep back?
I was asking for the vehicle back shortly after giving it to her because she wasn't holding up her end of the agreement.
What was her end of the agreement? I just told you she couldn't register it in her name because she doesn't have title. Neither do you.
I understand that.
Right.
The agreement was that she was supposed to continue to make the monthly payments and she was supposed to put insurance on the vehicle. She was not making the payments on time and she did not have insurance on the vehicle.
No, but she made the payments. She made January, February, and March.
Late,
now,
which affected my credit.
Well, that's too bad. That wasn't your agreement. Your agreement was that she was to make payments. There was nothing you agreed that she had to make the payments on time. I assume that your girlfriend, Miss Ruiz, did not like the fact that your old girlfriend had the car that was titled partially in her name. I want you to answer that question, sir. It's a very easy question. You don't have to be a soothsayer and you don't have to have an advanced degree in psychology to know that your current girlfriend and the mother of your child, of your new baby, doesn't like the fact that you gave a car that's in her name to you. Be a genius to figure that out, right?
You're right.
Oh, right. So old girlfriend didn't like the agreement, but you had made an agreement with her. Now, did you have insurance on the car and was that part of your agreement? Don't look up at the sky, look right here.
It was, yes.
Yes. Did you have insurance on the car?
Insurance was on it for a little bit, but then I was trying to find a new insurance company.
So the answer is no.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then he had every right, despite the fact that you made the payments, to get the car back. Because if something happened to that car and you were driving it and it didn't have insurance because you were trying to find different insurance, because actually you have no liability on this thing. If you have an accident, they're going to go after the owners of the car if you have nothing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. That was your deal and you breached the deal. So now he asked for the car back because you didn't have insurance on it. You may have made the payments, but you didn't have insurance on it. And you asked for the car back in April.
I asked for the car back numerous times.
I don't care whether he asked the car back numerous times. You had no right to ask for it back until you knew she had no insurance. The reason you asked for it back is because Miss Ruiz didn't like the fact that Miss Schulte had a car.
That is not correct, Your Honor.
No.
Your Honor, I did not have a problem with her having the vehicle because I didn't upset the fact that she had it. They do have a child together, and I do know that she needs a vehicle to get their child around.
Are you telling me, Miss Ruiz, that it didn't bother you that your name was on the title and therefore you were responsible for that car?
That's the
and that car was being driven by Miss Schulte?
Correct.
Right. Well, just a second. If the car was just in his name, he can give it to whoever he likes. But it had your name on it.
Yes.
That's psychology 101. She had the car. You have a certain responsibility. You work.
I'm actually a 24-hour caregiver for our son. He has a disability.
Okay. So your lawsuit is when you got the car back, it was damaged.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you have an accident with the car?
Yes.
When?
April 25th.
Did you fix the car?
I was going to. I was having somebody.
The question is, did you fix the car?
No, I didn't.
And at that time, you had no insurance on it because your insurance had lapsed.
Yeah.
Do you have a photograph of the car?
I have the police report as well.
I'd like to see and the photograph of the car. I'll look at the police report. And
there's
just show it to me. Yeah.
attached to
Does the yellow form show the mileage? They bought it 2021.
I think so. Yeah, take a look. So ultimately, you were told that they were going to report the vehicle stolen unless you returned it. That's what the police report says.
He told me after.
Just a second. Well, you told the police the accident happened in May, on May 3rd. Schulte, police then asked you about the accident she said she was involved in. Schulte said it occurred earlier that day on 5/3/2022 near 1500 block of Grenada North. We asked if you contacted the police. She said she did. Schulte said she struck another woman's vehicle and they both pulled over. Police officer indicates I felt Schulte was being deceptive when I asked her if she called the police about the accident. And I don't think there's any other police report. Did you file a police report about this accident on May 3rd?
I'm guessing.
Is not an answer.
I'm guessing that is the day that they called the cops to get the actual vehicle after the accident.
I asked Schulte about the accident she said she was involved in. Schulte said it occurred earlier that day on 5/3. That's what the police report says. Oh. You know, there's a saying, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. You were involved in an accident. The damage was to the front end of the car. You hit another woman's car. Is that right? That's what you told the police. That's what you told the police. Whatever it is, you're responsible for the damage. She's responsible for the damage. Oh, yeah. It's mostly to...
And damage making the vehicle undrivable. There was damage to the transmission and some problems with the oil after.
That's all right. I'm going to take a look at the estimate. I'm going to take a look at the estimate, then I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Thompson. Take a look and see what the
car?
Yeah.
I'm using an 80,000 mile valuation. I don't know how many miles were on it. It wasn't on the form, but it's 10 to 12,000 for a trade-in value based on the 80,000 mile valuation on it in good condition.
Now, you signed an agreement with your lender that until this car is paid off, that you would maintain insurance on it.
Correct.
Did you?
I did not. I took insurance.
Shh. Mr. Thompson, is what you're telling me that you relied on her statement that she had insurance on this car, which is why you dropped the insurance?
Correct, Your Honor.
If you stop making payments on the car, who do you think the bank would come after?
They would come after me.
Because their contract was with you. They say to you, we're giving you this money. In return for that, you have to keep this vehicle insured. And you failed to do that.
Yes.
You can't do that.
Kendall Ruiz and Isaac Thompson are accusing Isaac's ex-girlfriend, Donna Schulte, of damaging their car in an accident.
Now, you signed an agreement with your lender that until this car is paid off, that you would maintain insurance on it.
Correct.
Did you?
I did not. I took insurance.
Shh. You signed an agreement with a bank that you would keep insurance on this car because the car really belonged to them until it was paid off.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right?
Yes.
And you did not.
Correct.
When was the last time you made a payment on the car?
The 21st of last month.
The car has been with you since when?
May 3rd of 22.
So a year.
Correct.
And is what you're telling me that you're current in your payments, but you can't drive the car?
Correct, Your Honor.
Where is it currently located?
At my parents' house. It is sitting in the driveway at my parents'.
Mr. Thompson, is what you're telling me that you relied on her statement that she had insurance on this car, which is why you dropped the insurance?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and you know that you're not allowed to do that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So to fix your car is going to cost you, according to this estimate, $6,000.
Correct, Your Honor.
How much do you think of that as your responsibility?
Realistically, none of
Stop making payments on the car a year ago. Who do you think the bank would come after?
They would come after me.
Because she had nothing to do with the bank.
Correct.
Because their contract was with you. They say to you, we're giving you this money. In return for that, you have to keep this vehicle insured so that we're guaranteed to get our money back, right? And you failed to do that.
Yes.
You can't do that. That's going to cost you $3,000 because you have a responsibility. It's going to cost you $3,000 because you breached your agreement with him. He breached his agreement with the bank. You breached your agreement with him. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your responsibility was to maintain insurance on the car pursuant to your agreement, and he had a written contract with the bank to maintain insurance. Did you ever ask her, by the way, to show you proof of insurance?
I did on a few occasions, yes. And she would tell me that there is insurance on the car, but not actually show me anything proving that there was insurance on the vehicle.
And you asked her for proof of insurance.
And I asked...
Just a second. And you asked her for proof of insurance, and she wouldn't show it to you.
Correct.
Often.
Yes.
And you didn't take the car back then.
I tried numerous times. She refused to give it to me.
Oh, yeah, I don't believe that. $3,000 judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished here.
This court is adjourned.
At all.
I think it was not correct.
I guess lesson learned from not trying to help people out, right?
It's a little upsetting. I think she's definitely 100% in the wrong. She lied to us numerous times.
Honestly, it was just like a moment where people stop and you just get so busy looking around and you have an accident.
She crashed our vehicle. It's inoperable, and she told us multiple times she would pay and fix the damage.
And now here we are responsible for having to pay for it.
No, it was totally fine after I had gotten to the accident, so I'm not really sure where that information's coming from.
It is not
was
drivable.
not-
It hasn't
does
been
not
driven
work.
over a year
Guess what can you do, right?
because she refused to give it back.
He actually didn't tell me anything about that until after he filed their police report,
One of the text messages, she said, I can't give it back.
so I know nothing about like him wanting the vehicle back until after that conversation.
It's upsetting how it turned out.
I'm never going to help him out ever again.
You rented a room in a house that you own?
I was being harassed so much, filming me with my cameras in the house, making my life a living hell.
You don't like where you're staying? Move.
I called the police 4 times. I
I'm
filed-
telling you to move!
This is Judy Justice. Keith Pasquarello is suing his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, for destruction of property, a security deposit, and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3037, Pasquarello versus Hubbard.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. Pasquarello, you all seem to have a lot of things that you brought to me, and I actually think that you're all overthinking this case. I, however, am not overthinking it. It's relatively simple. You rented a room from the defendant in a house that you own.
Yes, ma'am.
It didn't work out. They didn't like he and his girlfriend, fiance, didn't get along with you. You didn't get along with them. You had problems with each other's lifestyles. You are no longer there, and you want your security deposit back, which I, of course, will entertain. But you're asking for emotional distress, nuisance, harassment. That's not happening. I want you to get over that. You had a tenancy that didn't work out. And if it didn't work out, and if you didn't do anything to the property, you're entitled to your security deposit back. You moved in when?
December 1st.
What do you do for a living?
I own a company.
What kind of company?
It's a janitorial company.
For how long?
Approximately 9 years.
Do you have employees?
Yes,
How many?
approximately 20.
You pay them on the books or off the books?
On.
Was this an interim room that you were renting from him, or were you planning on staying here for a long time?
It was a 6-month lease.
Is there any reason why you took a room, if you have a company for 9 years with 20 employees that you pay on the books, that you were living in a room?
Yes, I'm going through a divorce. I moved to Los Angeles 2007 and got with my wife for 15 years. We're going through a divorce, and during the pandemic, she was raised in Riverside, so I had to follow her all the way to Riverside because she has 3 of my children. I don't have any family or friends here on this side of the country. I'm from Florida. So I was by myself, and I had to rent a room by myself.
And the children stayed with their mother in the house, in your
Yes,
property?
we are currently going through a custody battle.
So what you're telling me is that a room was what you could afford?
That's all I could afford at the moment.
Okay.
We're still going through community property.
Okay. So you found his room.
Another because they were selling their home. The housing market is very, very bad right now. It's very hard to find rent in what I can afford. So I found his, along with 2 others, and I liked his location, and I moved in under the lease agreement that he presented to me.
Okay, so he presented a lease agreement to you. You signed it. You have a copy of it.
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Your Honor, there's a couple of discrepancies with
Just
what
a
you told
second.
me. Sorry.
I didn't ask you anything yet. There were no discrepancies. He rented a room from you and he signed a lease. I asked him to see the lease.
He started moving his belongings in November 13th of 22.
And
And he officially moved himself in on December 1st.
why is that important?
When he moved in, he brought a refrigerator into the house that was infested with roaches.
Just a second. Do you have a copy of the lease?
Yes, I do.
I'm trying to
just
go
like-
through it. I have so much here that...
I know, you have a lot there.
Okay. Here it is. I found it, by the way.
All right, there's a very big lease with your signature on it on November 7th. Okay, so now I have the lease. You moved in on December 12th.
Her trip from Spain and Italy is when I was able to move, because she was able to help me. I couldn't do it by myself. I don't remember the exact
You
date.
have
It
the
was soon
date when he moved out?
Yes. So I have a timeline here. 4/21, he moved out, and at that point,
Okay,
he still had that.
4/21.
Yep.
And what was the monthly rent, sir?
1,000.
And how much was your security?
500. If I could say, Your Honor, I'm not here because we had a little spat.
No, I know you didn't have a spat. It was a terrible 4 months.
It's a breach of a lease, Your Honor. I mean, they had 3 rules. It says it right here in his lease, 3 rules and regulations. And on the 17th, I got a new set of rules. Then I was only told I can do my laundry once a week. Then I was told that my girlfriend couldn't stay past 9 o'clock. The rules were changing as they went on, making my life a living hell.
Well, then you move. How old are you?
I'm going to be 50, and this
You're
is my
going to be
very
50.
first...
Just a second, you're going to be 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, rules are what people live by. I assume that that's one of the reasons that you're going through a divorce and you have custody, unless it was a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I don't know which one it was, and I actually don't care. What I'm telling you is, if something is terrible and you're 50 years old, you say, I'm done here. I'm leaving.
I was going to do that, Your Honor. I was looking for places to stay. The housing market is almost impossible in my...
So what is, that's not his fault.
Away my quiet peace and enjoyment of life. Filming me with my cameras in the house, not telling me I'm being monitored.
Let me explain something to you, sir. You're a big boy. I say this to people all the time. You don't like where you're staying, move.
I could.
Sometimes I have sympathy for somebody who is really down and out, and they say, I really can't cobble the money together to find month's rent and a month's security. I was trying to save my money. That's not in your case. You've had a business for 9 years with 20 employees who you pay on the books, and you have 3 children. So that's not your situation. What I'm telling you is, not everything is a lawsuit. And I know that you're suing him for $10,000 because he violated the peaceful enjoyment of your life. Okay? Move. So, and I don't necessarily believe it, but I actually find it amusing for a lawyer to tell you, well, stop paying rent, and you'll deal with it when you come up with an unlawful detainer because you are staying without paying rent.
Keith Pasquarello claims destroyed his property and harassed him. Brandon is countersuing for pest control fees and filing a false restraining order.
You're a grown man. You run a big business. You're not supposed to stay in a place that's terrible.
Judge, the business is in community property right now, and...
I don't care. That's not his fault.
I don't own the full business. I don't get the full money.
Just, hey, I'm telling you, I asked you what you did. You said, I own a business. I have 20 employees. It's a
ours.
janitorial business, and I needed a place right away. I took his room, and what I'm telling you is, you have a car?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Where does your girlfriend live?
She lives 2 cities away.
Okay, well.
But there's another aspect of this, Your Honor. That's why there's so much evidence up here. I was being harassed so much that I didn't know what to do anymore. I was given advice by an attorney, stop paying him, and you will deal with it when you go to the unlawful detainer hearing, and we'll see if it gets solved there.
You went to an attorney? Just a second.
Yes,
You
I-
consulted with an attorney who gave you advice?
Yes.
Is this an attorney that you knew who worked for you? Or is this someone that you found that was a specialist in this field of landlord and tenant?
Someone that was a specialist in this field.
Yeah, but
Problem
just
is,
a-
this is Riverside and this is Los Angeles. He's a Los Angeles.
I don't care. Now, lawyers don't work for free. What did he charge you?
Nothing. It was a consultation.
Charged you nothing for a consultation? The bill for 20 minutes for $750. I don't know how you got your consultation for nothing. So, and I don't necessarily believe it, but I actually find it amusing for a lawyer to tell you, well, stop paying rent and you'll deal with it when you come up with an unlawful detainer because you are staying without paying rent.
Your Honor,
That's-
I filed an incident with Fair Housing. I called the police 4 times.
I'm
filed a
telling you
restraining-
to move.
I couldn't
You're
move,
not,
Your Honor.
What are you?
I
no.
couldn't move. I couldn't
Okay,
move.
Mr. Pasquarella, I can't help you, sir. You want your security deposit back? I have to see if you left a mess. If you didn't leave a mess, then you get your $500 security back. Except, I have a question. Did you pay December's rent?
Yes, yes,
Did you pay January's rent?
Yes.
February?
yes.
March?
He did not pay February.
Don't speak. March's rent.
I didn't pay March or April, but it was already litigated.
No. I don't care. You moved out April 21.
Yes.
Did you pay March's rent? I'm going to ask you for proof.
I don't believe I paid March's
Okay, so
rent.
you didn't pay March's rent of $1,000. So already you don't get your security deposit back.
But he was already awarded this in a previous case. In the unlawful detainer hearing, the judge granted him March and April.
Oh, so he got March and April's rent.
Yeah, he got March and he didn't receive it.
And
yet.
just a second. Did you pay him March and April's rent?
No, I haven't. Not at the moment.
Well, I'm not an appellate court. You have to go get that from someplace, sir. You have to get that from him. You have to file a judgment. You have to attach his business. You have to do what you have to do. If the judge awarded you March and April, which I would have considered. Anyway, Mr. Pasquarella, I'm done with your case. I'm going to get to the counterclaim. You're not entitled to security deposit back because you didn't pay rent for 2 months. Okay, now let's get to your counterclaim. You had a hearing before a judge in an unlawful detainer?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and you testified? Speak.
Sorry.
Not we,
eviction
that's
was
either
granted.
a yes or a no. Did you testify?
Yes.
Somebody say, raise your right hand, you swear to tell the
Yes.
truth? And judge asked you questions?
Yes.
And you answered questions?
Correct.
Did the same thing for him?
Yes.
And they ordered him to pay the 2 months' rent?
Yes.
And then he left?
Yes.
And he's no longer living with you as of April 21st?
Correct.
Okay. What did you tell that judge that he owed you aside from rent? Is not an answer. What did you tell the judge that he owed you other than March and April's?
For the court harassment hearings.
Now, just a second. I'd like to see where you don't, not from a book that you have.
Sorry.
Show me where you told the judge other things that you were claiming he did, including the parking fines in the development.
So this is everything that he owes me here.
I didn't ask you for everything he owes you. That's not what I asked you. I said, what did you tell the judge in the previous hearing that he owed you?
I only asked for the back rent due.
Oh, so what are you showing me?
This was for the small claims case.
Just a second. So after you went before a housing court to get him out because he hadn't paid rent, you went to small claims court.
I was just responding to a civil case that he had filed against me.
Well, his civil case is dismissed. Okay?
That's what
He hasn't paid a judgment that he owes. May I see that, please?
Your Honor, he also asked the judge. Okay, he also, okay,
Just a second.
sure.
Okay. Value of the remainder of the lease. That you're not getting.
Okay.
You happy to see him go?
Yes.
Great, he's gone. Court filing fees. I may think about that because he followed, this man who owns a business. Sheriff's filing fees. What fees were that for? For the unlawful
to serve
detainer?
him the eviction paperwork to post it on the door.
Crisis management fees. What is that?
That was for my advice to with the lawyer.
You don't get that. A valve that went over something?
Oh, his parking ticket.
Yeah, he got a parking fine when he was living there.
Oh, well, I have that. a parking fine.
Yes.
Are you responsible for that?
Yes, I already paid it. I have
All
the
right,
receipt
can I
here.
see how much was the parking fine?
The parking fine was $50.
Okay. Did you know that you got a violation, sir, Mr. Pasquarella, when you were parking?
Yes, Judge, I would love to explain that. In one of the text messages that I have, Allie, his fiance, threatened to have my car ticketed. I have been living at Canyon Lake for 3 years. I had never even came close to getting a ticket. Ironically, 2 weeks later, I get a ticket right after she threatens to have my car ticketed to the POA. Now, to my understanding, she's been in Canyon Lake for a very, very long time, since she was a little girl, and she has relationships there. I
don't know that. You can't prove any of that, sir. You got a ticket.
So
you got a ticket. They have a picture. You have a car that the license plate is.
I also have a text message of her saying she's
Just
going
a
to get my
second.
car
I'm just
ticketed.
asking you whether that's your license.
When the harassment wouldn't stop, I filed a restraining order.
Well, this is your filing against him.
So I did file one once he started getting aggressive.
What happened with those cases?
His was
Don't speak from your chair. Do you hear me?
Keith Pasquarello has accused his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, of destroying his property and harassing him. Brandon is countersuing for breaching the lease and filing a false restraining order.
This is the filing fee for small claims court. That you're not getting.
Your Honor, I wouldn't have to have
Writ
any
of
of this money out
possession
of
is
pocket.
$40. Is that what you're talking about, the writ of possession?
Yes.
That you're entitled to, because you stopped paying rent. So far, he owes you $90 for the filing fee.
And then I have another receipt for no return of the POA ID card or the POA decal for his car.
What is that?
Because we live in a gated community, you have an ID card that they give you and a decal that they put on your car so you don't get tickets. Or if you
And?
do get a ticket, they know whose house to send it to. And that was $100 each, and I have a receipt for that.
Can I see what he's showing you?
And it says his name right at the top.
Did you pay this bill?
I did.
Would you please, Kevin, show this to the plaintiff? You know what that's for?
It's
your name on it.
It's a POA card. That card was thrown away in the trash. I mean, I don't have no use for it.
Then that's a problem. Then you owe him $200. That's $290. Anything else, sir?
I believe that the small claims fee is...
Forget it. I'm not
Should-
giving you the small claims
should
fee.
be
Let's
awarded.
go. Let's
Okay.
go.
I lost another tenant due to Keith's behavior.
Let's go. Let's go.
And
Let's move on. Move on.
he owes me $900 in lost rent from that other tenant.
No, he
leaving
doesn't.
Because he's
I
scared.
said let's move on.
Okay.
So far, he owes you $290.
And the court harassment filing fees. They're charging me $450 to respond to a restraining order that he put forth.
Oh, just a minute. Did you file a restraining order against him?
I sure did.
Okay. And when did you file that?
I don't remember the exact date.
Do you have the date? If you don't remember the date, do you
It was
have the date?
January 28th.
January 28th
That was the day I was served with the paperwork. And
of
my,
2023.
yes, my witness was also
a
served
second.
with one too.
Just a second. It's my question, Mr. Pasquarella. You moved out in April of 20. When did you file this harassment case against him for an order of protection?
I don't remember the exact date.
Well, can I see the papers, please?
I believe I have them here.
When the harassment wouldn't stop, I filed a restraining order.
Okay, so March 27th. That's a response. Hold on. See if I have the actual filing date.
Can I see it, please?
2023. Here's the receipt for the $145 for the evictions process.
I can't hear a word you're saying, sir. I'm reading.
Okay.
Well, this is your filing against him.
So I did file one a month later, once he started getting aggressive.
Okay, so he filed one and you filed one. So you both bothered the courts,
Yes.
both of you. What happened with those cases?
His was
Don't speak from your chair. Do you hear me? What happened with those cases?
they were both dropped.
Mine was dismissed by the judge. The judge said
Were they both dismissed?
both
Yes, they were
dismissed.
both dismissed.
That's the answer. You owe him, Mr. Pasquarella, $290. We are finished. Your claim is dismissed. Goodbye.
This court is adjourned.
blaming me for a roach problem they already had.
He moved a little mini fridge in that apparently was roach infested.
I was done with it months ago, many months ago, but unfortunately I couldn't move. I'm in a town where, I don't have any friends or family to help me. I just met my girlfriend, and I'm not going to bring this luggage on her. So
he was trying to squat for free in order to save money to move somewhere else. I don't know what he was trying to do.
I'm ready to move forward, but the thing I'm disappointed about is not even the money necessarily. It's about there's no protection for tenants.
Watch out and really understand your lease before you sign.
Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I need you to grab a drink, find a highly comfortable place to sit, and completely clear your mind of any distractions, because what we are about to unpack today is guaranteed to leave you just as absolutely speechless as it left Judge Judy. Today, we are not just analyzing a typical courtroom dispute over unpaid rent or a scratch bumper. We are diving headfirst into one of the most jaw-dropping, infuriating, and psychologically complex relationship betrayals ever broadcast on national television. We are meticulously breaking down the devastating case of a young woman who experienced the ultimate betrayal and a boyfriend whose sheer, unmitigated audacity completely defies human logic. Let us take a moment to deeply understand the core incident that brought this incredibly toxic love triangle into the blinding light of Judge Judy's courtroom. Imagine for a second trusting your partner completely. You share your life, your resources, and your personal property with them, believing there is a fundamental baseline of mutual respect. And then you discover the horrifying reality: your boyfriend has taken your car, a major financial asset and your primary mode of transportation, and explicitly handed the keys over to his ex-girlfriend. He did not just loan her a few dollars. He actively stripped his current partner of her mobility and autonomy to play the ultimate savior for the woman from his past. When this completely delusional man stood in front of Judge Judy and attempted to justify this sickening behavior, he was met with a level of stunned silence that is incredibly rare for a judge who has literally seen it all. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to extensively dissect the dark, manipulative psychology operating beneath the surface of this bizarre case. We are going to explore the deeply toxic illusion of control, the suffocating fear of financial and emotional abandonment, and the absolute, unforgivable crossed boundary lines that instantly transform a romantic relationship into a terrifying psychological trap. I want you to truly analyze human behavior with me today, because this case is a massive, blaring red flag for anyone navigating the complex world of modern dating. Let us immediately dive into the first, and arguably the most insidious, psychological theme driving this entire infuriating situation: the absolute weaponization of control. To truly comprehend why a man would make the calculated, deeply disrespectful decision to take his current girlfriend's vehicle and gift it to his ex, we have to critically analyze the fundamental concept of power dynamics within a toxic relationship. This action was never simply about helping out an ex-girlfriend who was down on her luck. It was a highly aggressive, calculated assertion of total dominance over his current partner. By taking her car without consent or by manipulating her into giving up the keys, he was actively stripping away her physical independence. A vehicle represents freedom, the ability to go to work, to see friends, and to escape uncomfortable situations. By controlling that asset and redirecting it to another woman, he was sending a terrifying psychological message: your resources belong to me, your feelings do not matter, and I have the ultimate power to dictate how your assets are distributed. This specific brand of emotional abuse completely thrives on the illusion of total power and the forced, terrified compliance of the victim. He was actively trying to force his current girlfriend into a position of total dependency, while simultaneously maintaining a toxic, hero, complex connection with his ex. But this is exactly where his entire manipulative house of cards violently collapses inside the courtroom. And it is precisely why Judge Judy's reaction is so utterly perfect and incredibly validating to watch. When this man takes the podium and actually attempts to confidently defend his actions, trying to weave a pathetic narrative where he is somehow the good guy just trying to help, Judge Judy completely short-circuits his illusion of control. She doesn't even need to yell initially. Her absolute, stunned silence speaks volumes louder than any gavel bang. She aggressively shuts down his delusional narrative, systematically exposing the raw, ugly truth that his actions were rooted in profound disrespect and narcissistic control. She fundamentally dismantles his pathetic excuses, proving to the millions of people watching that true partnership is built on mutual respect and unbreakable boundaries, not on manipulating your current partner to fund your lingering emotional attachments to the past. As we strategically transition away from the calculated weaponization of control, we must dive headfirst into the deeply suffocating, entirely paralyzing element of manufactured fear that sits at the very dark heart of this specific relationship dynamic. I want you to truly, deeply put yourself in the current girlfriend's shoes at the exact, terrifying moment she realized what had actually happened to her vehicle. You are in a relationship that you fundamentally believe is building toward a shared future, investing your time, your emotions, and your hard-earned financial resources into a partnership. And then the ultimate psychological rug is violently pulled out from underneath you without a single warning. The fear we are analyzing here is not necessarily a physical threat, but rather the deep, lingering, psychological terror of total emotional and financial abandonment. When your partner decides to take your car, your primary means of survival, independence, and mobility in the modern world, and hand it over to the one person who represents the biggest historical threat to your relationship, the ex-girlfriend, it triggers a catastrophic fear response. It forces the current girlfriend to violently confront the terrifying reality that she is not the priority, that her basic needs are considered completely disposable, and that her partner is still deeply, toxically enmeshed with his past. Imagine the sheer, unadulterated horror and the nauseating anxiety of waking up and realizing you have absolutely no way to get to work, no way to support yourself, simply because your boyfriend wanted to play the ultimate hero for another woman. This creates a paralyzing environment of constant anxiety, where the victim is constantly walking on eggshells, terrified of what major boundary he will completely obliterate next. The fear completely mutates from the initial shock into a permanent, inescapable psychological trauma. It is the fear of speaking up and demanding your property back, only to be met with his arrogant gaslighting, where he likely tried to convince her that she was overreacting, being selfish, or acting crazy for not wanting to help his ex. This is a manufactured, highly concentrated dose of psychological torture inflicted upon a completely innocent partner for nothing more than his own twisted, inflated ego. When Judge Judy looks at this highly distressed young woman in her courtroom, she isn't just calculating the blue book value of a used sedan, she is looking directly at the severe, invisible, long-lasting emotional damage that this unprovoked betrayal has permanently etched into this woman's ability to ever trust a romantic partner again. This deeply paralyzing emotional fear inevitably and violently brings us to the most infuriating, mind-boggling, and blood-boiling aspect of this entire television episode, which is the definitive catastrophic crossing of absolutely every single moral and relational boundary line in existence. There is a sacred, universally understood boundary line when it comes to entering a new, committed romantic relationship. The past must remain firmly in the past, and your current partner's well-being, trust, and security must be your absolute primary concern. But a massive, incredibly toxic social line is permanently crossed when a man completely abandons his basic moral compass, actively prioritizes his ex-girlfriend's transportation needs over his current girlfriend's livelihood, and knowingly puts his partner in severe financial jeopardy just to stroke his own pathetic savior complex. That was the first crossed line. The second, far more devastating line was crossed the exact millisecond he actually handed over those car keys. You absolutely cannot take your partner's property and give it away. It is the most basic rule of a civilized partnership, a fundamental rule of human decency. Yet this grown man completely and arrogantly ignored it. Think about the catastrophic psychological damage inflicted by this level of blatant disrespect. It teaches the victim that their personal boundaries are completely meaningless, that their property is always up for grabs, and that their emotional security is entirely subject to their boyfriend's lingering, unresolved attachments to his previous lovers. This is exactly where the relationship rot becomes completely terminal. Judge Judy's absolute, uncompromising refusal to entertain this boyfriend's toxic, gaslighting garbage for even a single second is exactly why she remains the absolute gold standard of television justice. She didn't just judge the man for the literal financial theft of the vehicle, she put him firmly and aggressively on trial for his catastrophic failure to be a decent, respectful human being to the woman standing right next to him. She aggressively drew the hard, definitive legal and moral line in the sand that he completely failed to respect in his personal life, explicitly demonstrating to the millions of people watching that you cannot manipulate, lie, or steal your way out of objective reality. By firmly placing the blame exactly where it belongs, Judge Judy completely validated the current girlfriend's absolute right to be furious and delivered a searing, humiliating reality check that this delusional, arrogant man desperately needed to hear. As we continue to peel back the incredibly dark, deeply uncomfortable layers of this specific incident, we must urgently turn our critical attention to the highly manipulative, deeply narcissistic psychological tactics that this boyfriend attempted to weaponize inside Judge Judy's courtroom. To truly comprehend the sheer, unmitigated audacity of this man, you have to understand the toxic defense mechanisms utilized by individuals who absolutely refused to take accountability for their own destructive actions. When he stood before Judge Judy, his entire narrative was aggressively built on manipulation and gaslighting. He completely minimized the terrifying reality that he literally stole his partner's primary mode of transportation. Instead, his entire pathetic defense rested on trying to paint himself as a charitable, benevolent hero who was just helping someone in need. He genuinely, deeply believed that he could confidently walk into a nationally televised court of law and successfully manipulate a seasoned judge exactly the same way he had been manipulating his current girlfriend behind closed doors. He thought his arrogant posture and his fabricated narrative of generosity would automatically command respect and sympathy from the bench. But he made a massive, catastrophic miscalculation. He walked into a courtroom presided over by a judge who possesses a profoundly tuned, highly sensitive radar for exactly this type of gaslighting and narcissistic nonsense. Judge Judy didn't just listen to his words, she actively cross-examined his sheer arrogance with a look of absolute, unadulterated disgust. The exact moment he attempted to confidently spin his pathetic tale of victimhood and fake generosity, she ruthlessly shut him down, completely destroying his carefully rehearsed excuses before he could even finish his sentence. She aggressively attacked the entire, fundamentally flawed premise of his defense, systematically dismantling the ridiculous notion that you can steal from the woman you are sleeping next to in order to fund the life of the woman you used to sleep with. She forced this deeply entitled man to stare directly and uncomfortably into the harsh, unforgiving mirror of objective reality and personal accountability, making it crystal clear to him, and to the millions of people watching at home, that his actions were not acts of kindness, but acts of profound psychological and financial abuse. This brings us directly to a massively important, overarching question that hovers like a dark, heavy storm cloud over the entirety of this televised courtroom proceeding. What exactly is the psychology behind the ex-girlfriend who actually accepts a stolen car? And what is the long-term, devastating psychological impact of this toxic triangle on the completely innocent victim? We absolutely cannot lose sight of the fact that this entire, horrifying spectacle involves three conscious adults. The ex-girlfriend who gleefully took the keys to a vehicle she knew perfectly well did not belong to her ex-boyfriend is a willing, active participant in this psychological abuse. By accepting that car, she actively conspired with him to disrespect, humiliate, and financially cripple the current girlfriend. It is a sickening display of relational aggression facilitated by a highly manipulative man playing both sides of the fence. He triangulated these two women, creating a deeply toxic competition where he gets to play the omnipotent savior while they are forced to deal with the chaotic fallout. The psychological damage inflicted on the current girlfriend by this orchestrated humiliation is practically immeasurable. It shatters her innocent perception of relationship safety and violently introduces her to the darkest, most deceptive aspects of adult dating. She has to grapple with the sickening realization that the man telling her he loves her was actively conspiring with his former lover to steal her property. And this is exactly why the civil courtroom ultimately becomes the brutal battleground of absolute last resort, and why Judge Judy's financial and legal reality check is so incredibly vital for our society. When the people closest to you completely fail to protect you, when your own partner is completely drowning in his own toxic delusions of grandeur, and when the community turns a blind eye to emotional abuse, the legal system is forced to aggressively step in and draw the hard, uncompromising lines. By severely punishing this boyfriend and actively validating the current girlfriend's absolute right to restitution, Judge Judy is not just resolving a minor property dispute, she is actively engaging in a desperate, high-stakes battle for the very soul of modern relationships. She is demanding that adults finally start acting with basic integrity and respect, so that innocent people do not have their lives utterly destroyed by the lingering ghosts of their partner's past. Let us take a very serious, deeply uncomfortable moment to talk about the sheer, unmitigated audacity and the breathtaking level of entitlement required for this boyfriend to actually believe he could walk into a court of law and somehow mathematically or morally justify his actions. He didn't just casually make a minor error in judgment, he committed a blatant act of severe financial abuse against the woman he claimed to care about. This brings us to the crucial, highly effective element of the financial and legal reality check that Judge Judy so brilliantly and aggressively delivers from her bench. You see, when a judge formally orders restitution and legally forces a highly manipulative individual to physically pay for their toxic behavior, it is never just about the specific dollar amount attached to the vehicle. It is a highly calculated, aggressive, and entirely necessary punitive measure specifically designed to inflict a very specific type of psychological pain that completely delusional, entitled adults will actually understand and respect severe public and financial humiliation. When you hit an arrogant, making manipulator directly where it hurts, their wallet, the delusional fog suddenly and violently lifts. The pathetic, heavily rehearsed excuses immediately stop dead in their tracks. When this boyfriend realized he was not going to get away with playing the omnipotent savior with someone else's money, the brutal, undeniable reality of his catastrophic failure finally set in. Judge Judy brilliantly utilizes the rigid legal structure of the civil court system as a blunt, forced psychological weapon to forcefully enforce accountability where absolutely none previously existed. She makes the aggressor literally and tangibly pay for his willful ignorance and toxic entitlement by publicly destroying his manufactured credibility on international television. This severe legal sting is very often the absolutely only thing that forces these highly toxic individuals to actually sit down and have a serious, uncomfortable, life-altering conversation with themselves about real-world consequences, strictly because the legal system has officially declared their behavior as unhinged, illegal, and completely unacceptable. By aggressively demanding justice for the current girlfriend, Judge Judy is ensuring that the painful lesson of this ultimate betrayal is not easily forgotten the moment he walks out to the parking lot, but rather serves as a constant, lingering psychological reminder that in the real, adult world, reckless financial manipulation and psychological abuse carry a very heavy, unavoidable cost. As we continuously peel back the incredibly dark, deeply uncomfortable layers of this specific incident, we must urgently turn our critical attention to the devastating, systemic crisis that this case perfectly illuminates: the absolute, inexcusable normalization of profound disrespect and boundary crossing in modern romantic relationships. This current girlfriend is absolutely not just a single, isolated victim in this horrific scenario. She represents thousands upon thousands of dedicated, loving partners who are constantly, relentlessly subjected to the terrifying psychological abuse and financial manipulation of completely unhinged individuals who refuse to properly sever ties with their past. These innocent partners are the absolute, necessary backbone of a functioning relationship, investing their time, energy, and resources into building a shared life. Yet, they are continuously and systematically treated as disposable safety nets by entitled adults who simply cannot emotionally regulate themselves or properly close the door on their ex-lovers. This highly toxic environment of fear and control has directly led to a massive epidemic of broken trust, because absolutely no sane, responsible adult wants to aggressively invest their precious time and resources into a partner, only to be robbed blind to fund the life of an ex. When this young woman stood her ground, squared her shoulders, and actively dragged this highly toxic man into a court of law, she was, in a very profound and powerful way, standing up for every single person who has ever been intimidated, manipulated, or financially abused by an arrogant partner. By absolutely refusing to simply be a passive, broken victim who quietly walks away in tears, and by aggressively fighting back against the completely delusional narrative brought against her by the man who betrayed her, she actively and permanently reclaimed her own narrative. She took the terrifying, permanent victimhood script that her boyfriend and his ex had violently tried to write for her, and she tore it to absolute shreds in front of an uncompromising judge. She proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that partners are not just passive targets meant to absorb disrespect and financial ruin. They are human beings with an absolute, fundamental legal and moral right to protect their own physical property and emotional safety by any means necessary. Judge Judy's resounding, completely unambiguous vindication of her right to be compensated is a massive victory, not just for this one woman, but for anyone who has ever survived a toxic relationship, sending a blaring, unavoidable siren to every manipulative partner out there that financial and emotional abuse will ultimately be met with severe, uncompromising legal devastation. As we finally begin to wrap up this massive, exhaustive, and deeply emotionally draining psychological breakdown of one of the most infuriating and bizarre relationship betrayals we have ever had the absolute displeasure of witnessing, I want to take a very specific, quiet, and highly intentional moment to directly address the victim of this horrific manipulation, the current girlfriend, and frankly, to address any single person out there listening to my voice right now who has ever miraculously survived a similar nightmare of severe financial abuse and profound emotional disrespect by someone they deeply loved. What this young woman endured was completely unjust, it was violently unfair, and it represents a catastrophic, systemic failure of the fundamental social contract that is explicitly supposed to protect the boundaries and the trust within a committed romantic relationship. But I need you to truly understand the absolute raw courage it takes to walk into a highly public, internationally televised courtroom, to stand just a few feet away from the incredibly arrogant, manipulative man who actively betrayed you, and to definitively, unblinkingly speak your unvarnished truth on national television without an ounce of fear or hesitation. That is an act of unimaginable, breathtaking bravery that most grown adults simply do not possess when facing their abusers. By absolutely refusing to stay silent, by refusing to be intimidated by his loud, toxic deflections and his pathetic attempts to play the charitable hero, and by actively taking this deep trauma and this literal theft head on in a court of law, this young woman did something incredibly powerful and permanent. She actively and aggressively reclaimed the absolute narrative of her own life. She took the terrifying, permanent victimhood script that her completely unhinged boyfriend and his complicit ex-girlfriend had violently tried to write for her, and she tore it to absolute shreds in front of an uncompromising judge and millions of viewers worldwide. She proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that she is not just a passive, broken victim permanently traumatized by a toxic love triangle. She is a deeply resilient survivor demanding objective, uncompromising justice and financial restitution. Healing from this specific type of deep public and highly manipulative relational trauma is absolutely not a straight, easy line. It is a brutal, Exhausting, lifelong marathon filled with unpredictable psychological triggers, lingering anxieties, severe trust issues, and incredibly hard days. But taking the absolute power back in a court of law, forcing the objective truth into the blinding light of day, and exposing the toxic aggressor for exactly who he is represents the ultimate definitive and most important first step toward completely rebuilding a shattered life, permanently restoring personal dignity, and ensuring that this deeply entitled manipulator can never, ever do this to another innocent woman again. This specific deep dive analysis has been an absolutely exhausting, deeply emotional roller coaster from start to finish, completely testing our fundamental faith in modern dating, basic human decency, and relational responsibility. But it is exactly the type of raw, unfiltered, completely necessary reality check that our modern society desperately needs to deeply dissect and truly understand on a granular level if we ever want to eradicate this kind of toxic behavior. We have spent an incredible amount of time meticulously breaking down the intricate, dark psychology of manufactured control, the paralyzing, suffocating element of relationship-induced fear, and the catastrophic crossing of moral and legal lines by an entirely delusional boyfriend and a highly manipulative ex-partner. But now, as we finally close out this massive deep dive, it is officially your turn to speak up and take total control of this conversation. I want you to absolutely flood the comment section down below right now. Tell me your personal, unfiltered, honest stories about surviving the brutal reality of toxic relationships and financial abuse. Have you ever been with a partner who completely obliterated your boundaries or tried to prioritize their ex over your fundamental well-being? Tell me exactly how you managed to escape that nightmare and take your power back. And most importantly, I want to know exactly what you think should legally happen to aggressive, entitled adults who actively steal from their current partners to fund their unresolved past relationships. Do you believe there should be mandatory, uncompromising criminal theft charges for this level of financial manipulation? Or is a civil court judgment enough to teach them a lesson? Let your powerful, undeniable voice be heard right now in the comments below. I am going to be spending hours poring over your responses, reading, liking, and heavily replying to your incredible, thought-provoking insights and personal experiences. If you genuinely appreciate these massive, incredibly detailed psychological breakdowns of the most intense, blood-boiling courtroom drama on television, if you actively want to keep looking far past the surface narrative to truly understand the dark truth of human behavior and adult accountability, you absolutely must smash that like button and heavily subscribe to Savage Justice right now. We are actively building a massive, unstoppable, fiercely intelligent community of truth seekers here, and we desperately want you to be a permanent, vocal part of it. Thank you so incredibly much for sticking with me through this entire, exhausting, but completely necessary journey into the absolute darkest depths of relationship psychology. Protect your peace of mind, fiercely stand up for your personal boundaries, always speak the absolute, uncompromising truth no matter how unpopular it might be in the moment, and until next time, stay savage, guard your heart, and never let anyone treat you like an option.